Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome to our module, Life Orientation for Policing Certificate. This is a subject content-based content class. We are going to talk about the subject content, not specific to say what comes in examination. This is now for our three upcoming examination for 2020. My name is Aina Simpson and my contact number is 081-2457-456. You can also reach me on my email, which is ainasimpson, all in small caps, @gmail.com. Our module specific is life orientation. I am going to be your tutor and your tutor marker for your assignment as well as the examination. I wish you all to be hardworking, dedicated, and self-driven students in your course. You need to take up your studies seriously and prepare well for the examination. This module serves as a firm foundation of other modules. This module focuses on different areas such as the features, factors, and impacts of stress. We are looking at the aspects of time management when you are at your workplace, the team concepts, and also the elements of team dynamic and the theory and application of managing diversity. These are the areas that are being covered in our module. Students need to understand this when preparing for assignments as well as for examination. Students may not only use presentation but can also find other resources which could assist you to understand the subject content better for a better passing mark. Kindly take note that this is not an examination scope, neither an assignment scope. Students need to study relevant information regarding the subject. Let us look at the subject assessment policy. How is your subject being assessed? Before that, we are quickly looking at the subject overview, and then we get back to the assessment, how it's being assessed. There are different areas in the study guides as follows. It touches on stress, and stress has two areas which are either positive or negative, as well as their causes. It emphasizes on the understanding of time planning and management, its principles, methods, and techniques used in scheduling tasks and activities. It provides important information on the team, its objectives, values, features of communication. It also looks at the factors affecting team and the team structure. Finally, it touches on the generation theory and the cultural diversity. Now, the assessment policy. A final mark of 50% is required, calculated by 50% of the examination mark and 50% of the semester, which is the continuous assessment mark. We are now talking of, for you to enable to pass your subject, you must acquire 50% in your assignment as well as 50% in your examination. These two marks are added together, divided by 2, still give you a minimum, sub-minimum of 50% in order for you to have said pass your examination at the end of the day. The examination format. The duration of the examination is 2 hours. The total marks is 100. There are also open-ended questions that examine your understanding and application of knowledge, skills, and ideas. The answers are to be written excuse me. The answers are to be written on the examination script. Let's go through the 4 topics of the study guide. The study guide's aim is that at the end of this study guide, you should be able to understand that how you can manage your stress in personal life, work situation, or to improve your quality of life. It's very important that we know what stress is and how we can manage it so that we don't burn out. Make decisions and recommendations about effective time and management in a new venture. You should also know how to make decisions in whatever you are doing and what recommendation can you follow and how will you look at a time and so on. Describe a time and the communication process within the team. The team is there when it's being managed well through time management as well as the communication process. And then the guide aims continues. At the end of this module, you're still required to understand and apply, to describe and apply best working team practices and handle conflict situation within the team. And then you should be able to describe the generation theory and diversity between people and culture. What other topics do we have? Looking at the features, factors, and the impact of stress, you are expected to know how to manage your stress in your personal life and work situation in order to improve your quality of life. Now, the definition of stress is very important that we understand what is it. We have a positive stress that is guiding you in order to, or that motivates you in order to do your work better. And then we have the negative one where you cannot, it pushes you down and then you will not be productive in whatever you do. List and describe the positive effects of stress on the general performance of individuals. You are required to list, and also after you list the positive effects of stress, you can describe them. That will earn you marks, not only to list, but you also need to describe what are those positive effects when you do what. And then name and describe factors that cause stress under human society, internal and external factors. The same applies to factors that cause stress. Stress is caused by different factors that can be internal within the person and also external, which is around the person. You can name them as well as describe them. When we look at the stressors affect the human beings. We have 4 of them. That is now the changes in belief system. We have the attitude and values in society. We have health system. We look at the legal systems, security, demographics of society and work environment. When we look at this, these are the stresses that can affect a human being. If you are in a society and you don't value the society's, you don't follow the attitudes that is guiding you, or the values that is guiding you, then definitely you will not be doing well. You will be affected in one way or the other. The effect of positive stress on the performance of an individual. Enough stress can help to motivate to accomplish something good. It helps a human being to make necessary changes. It can help an individual to change his schedule, avoiding a threatening or dangerous situation. The positive stress, it helps a human being in order to accomplish, in order to complete your work. And then you are also helped to change where it is necessary. And in the way of changing, you are also assisted to avoid dangerous situations that you may come across. Individuals need to find the optimal levels of stress that can motivate but not overwhelm each one of us. We are looking at the areas where we can be motivated, not anything that is going to overwhelm us. Enough stress will allow a human to recognize its own abilities and develop it. It will enable taking ownerships for activities and shared positive visions with others. All these are helping us to look at what is good for us, what type of stress is good for us. Individuals will be able to take responsibility, share success, and be able to place the needs of the group above the need of the individuals. When you are looking at the features of or the factors of positive stress, it helps you to take the responsibilities of your work. You need to be able to succeed in what have you planned, and also it helps us to realize, or to give us an ability to realize when things are wrong and need to be fixed, because you have that motivation. We are looking at the aspects of time management, the importance of scheduling activities in the organization. Why is it important to schedule activities? Why don't you just start your work with whatever comes first? Routine tasks are determined by the positions in your organization. Family ties, civic responsibility, and social obligations. We are looking at what can one do in order to be successful in whatever activities we are doing. So there is need to organize that and to plan that, so that at least you know what can you do first. Prioritize your schedules or your activities within your organization. I'm sure somebody has to be responsible in doing so. Types of interruptions that can be faced by supervisors at a workplace. At a workplace, we are faced with challenges, and one of it is that we have different types of interruptions that a supervisor can be faced with. We are looking at the telephones. We are looking at the visitors who just pop into your office without any appointment. We are looking at meetings that could be prolonged, and then some other time will be stolen from completing a certain task if the meeting takes so long. Acting incomplete information. So if you have information which are not complete, there is a possibility of you not be able to complete the task as it has been planned. It assists in initiating the intervention and problem-solving process by providing more creative solutions. Best ways in managing the situation. How can we manage such situations now in order to reduce the effect on production time? The secretary should refer to inquiries to someone else if he or she is unable to assist. So if somebody has come to the office for anything and the secretary is not able to assist, then the secretary can refer this person to someone else who is able to assist. In case no one could help, a message should be taken so that you can deal with it later, and then also return calls at the same time every day. Those are the best ways of managing the situation that might be that the supervisor may come across. Attach a time limit to all calls. Limit calls to maximum 3 minutes each, so that you leave space to do the work. Otherwise, if you continue talking, then you will be finishing your time on the phone while the work is still waiting for you. The purpose of task scheduling. Why do we need to schedule our tasks? It's to help ensure that what must get done gets scheduled, and to be sure that scheduled activities have been carried out. It's very important when you have the task scheduled, then you know you have how many tasks that need to be done. As soon as you finish the first one, you tick it off and then you move on to the next one. Then you know what has been done and what is yet to be done. It helps to communicate the work that needs to be done to other team members without getting into details. If you tick it then and you are working as a team, then the next person should be able to know that the colleague has covered this area, let me move on with this. It ensures that all the work sequence are identified and understood. When you schedule your tasks, then at least you know what area has been covered and what need to be followed or what need to be done first before you start with the next one. Reasons for breaking activities into small work packages. You cannot do the work just from A to Z and you don't break them. You don't put them in smaller groups. When you put them break down in smaller groups, at least you will have an idea of what to start with and what to end and what to do the last. Reasons for that is place actions needed to complete the activity in the most logical sequence. Tasks are a way of separating the activities into manageable segments. By breaking activities into tasks, one can determine the skills one needs to complete the work and to quantify how many resources will be required to complete the activities. It is very important that the breaking into activities are done. Tasks allow you to communicate the work to others without getting too much into details. It ensures that all work requests are identified and understood. Also, we look at how to handle the telephone interruption in your capacity as a manager or of an organization. How do you do that? You provide your secretary or receptionist with a list of persons you may be put through to you directly. Not just anybody looking for you can be put through. Inform everyone of the best time to reach you and to phone you. Allow your secretary, receptionist, or assistant to handle all inquiries. There are some interruptions at work. Those could be emergencies, fire drills, computer malfunction, visits to the stationery cupboard, long telephone conversations, unexpected visitors, and many more. Those ones can be some of the disruptions or interruptions at work. Ways of managing time at an organization. How can one manage the time? You need to have a to-do list. You need to have a diary. You need to be a planner. Prioritize your activities. What do you need to do first before you start with the next one? When outlined, you're required to state and briefly give a short description of what was just mentioned. This is only to say, should you get a question which says outline, then you need to give to state, and you also need to give a brief short description to the answer you have just outlined, you have just stated. Then we are looking at the team concepts and elements of team dynamic. Approach to the use to bring about good teamwork at a business organization. You should be able to diagnose. When you diagnose, that is now to facilitate the team's development and productivity. One needs to understand their dynamics and the behavioral patterns. A skillful leader or a team leader must do more than listen and talk. The most important skill is to observe the team in action. You need to communicate and participate, decision making, conflict, leadership, goal and roles, group norms, problem solving, and climate or tone. That is what is required from a skillful leader. Then you need to adapt. Adaptability, this refers to the skills of knowing when to use what leadership style. Managing a team of people used different ways, automatically and democratically. Directive or autocratic behavior and supportive or democratic behavior. Effective team leaders adjust their style to provide what the team can't provide for itself. So the adaptability, you now need to change so that you get a leadership style which is suitable for you. If you think autocratic will yield results in your company, you may follow that. But remember, you are a team. You cannot be the one who always give instructions. You also need to give room to your colleagues so that they also come in to share what they can do. Reasons as to why a supervisor should monitor employees. It is done to direct, guide, and control subordinates in the performance of their work. It helps to put plans into action towards the accomplishment of organizational. There is a reason why we need to monitor, or why a manager needs to monitor the employees. A success of an organization depends upon effective supervision. If the supervisor is not able to guide and control subordinates, then the policies of management cannot be translated into action. Effective coordination between efforts of development subordinates can be maintained by proper supervision only. The efforts of the workforce can be made fruitful only when they are properly supervised. That is the reason why the manager has to supervise the workers or the employees. Then we are looking at the supervision raise the morale and confidence. When you are being supervised, you gain that confidence that you are able to do the work, and also in the meantime, your supervisor is able to guide you on what you need to do better, and also to praise you in what you have done well. Stimulates better cooperation and coordination, increases the productivity of the employees. It ensures the continuity of work operation and work performance, quality of product, elimination of waste, and steady flow of output according to plans. So when you are looking at the continuity of work, You need to look at what do you need to do, how do you get to the final product. For you to get to the final product of the work, you need to go through all this. You need morale, you need confidence, you need to look at how is the team being cooperate, and how are you coordinating the work and the productivity, because with all this it will yield results in a good product at the end of the day. It ensures the utilization of resources in the best interest of the organization, because this is not done for an individual, it's done for the organization. It guarantees the proper functioning of the work units. Then we are also looking at how it helps with the management process towards the achievement of the organizational goals. Prosperity of employers and employees can be secured through effective and efficient supervision. In the absence of supervision, each worker will do what he likes. At the end of the day, it's the organization that will suffer. We are looking at the place actions needed to complete the activities. This we have looked at in the most logical order, and this can help to determine the best schedule of the activity. We are looking at the breaking activities into smaller groups, as it was stated earlier at the beginning of the topic. And also the management segments was also mentioned, and then we look at the skills needed. The skills needed, we have the diagnosis, we have the adaptabilities, and so on. All these are needed. This is now, if you happen to be asked some questions of this or questions from this topic, then that is what you need to remember. Then we move on to topic 4, the theory and application on managing diversity. The definition of culture, what is culture and what is diversity. When we look at culture, it dictates what groups of people pay attention to. If you belong to a certain culture, there are certain things that you do in your culture which is not possibly done in another culture. For example, in African culture, we have a say that you cannot throw away water when after sunset, but you get used to it, and you are accustomed to that, with not much explanation of why cannot be done, but still you believe you do it that way, or that is how it should be done. And how the world is perceived, and also we look at how the self is experienced, how life itself is organized within your culture. Individuals of a group shared patterns that enable them to see the same thing in the same way, and this holds them together. Then we are looking at the characteristics of a generation theory. It allows that change is an integral part of the social structure. It also explains how it takes place by revealing the components of social change, illuminating the nature, and explaining the articulation in the process of social change. We are looking at how the social structure is within a person. And then we look at the 3 approaches which are under the generation theory. We are looking at the golden rule approach. It includes the treat others as you want to be treated. Then we have the rights and the wrongs approach. This approach takes the form of affirmative action. We don't have enough of the previously disadvantaged people, such as blacks and women. And then we look at the values of differences approach. It recognizes differences in knowledge that they exist, but does not require people to be assimilated into the dominant culture. It allows for the individual mosaic of people to create the aggregate picture of the organization. All these approaches are needed to individuals, and they are needed in the organization. We are looking at the time that you could, should you find some difficulties, you can always reach me on Mondays and Thursdays from 2:30 to 8 o'clock at night. Saturday and Sunday have the same time from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening, or 2000 hours. This was our information in our orientation module. I wish you all the best. Keep studying. I thank you.